Hey everybody, this is a con support video. It's on the skill percents from fraction models. I'm going to do this whenever I see that certain people are struggling on skills. So hopefully this will be helpful to everybody. So if you click on percent from fraction models, there's the video that you can watch from con to go over this for you. And then if you wanted to go to the actual assignment, it's the starred one. So let's go to that and see how that looks. Okay. So I'm just going to do it like I'm a student. So let's go. It says the square below represents one whole. All right. So if we look at this particular square here, some things we can see. We can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 total columns, and 7 of which are shaded. All right. This is what percent is represented by the shaded area. Well, it's 7 out of 10, right? So when we're working with Khan Academy, I'm just going to use a little digital whiteboard here to help us, right? So that means it's 7 out of 10. And it says what percent is that? Remember, percent means per 100, right? That's what percent means. Per means for every, okay? And then cent is a suffix or prefix that means 100, right? So it really means for every 100. So we're asking what is an equivalent ratio out of 100 for this? And so if you remember, the way you convert a fraction to an equivalent ratio, or a ratio to an equivalent ratio, is that you multiply top and bottom by the same value, because then you're multiplying by 1, and multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything. That's the identity property of multiplication. So in this case, we can times the bottom by 10, as long as we also times the top by 10, and we can create an equivalent ratio out of 100, because 10 times 10 is 100, and 7 times 10 is 70. So what we're really saying here is that 7 out of 10 would be equivalent to 70 out of 100. So if you got a quiz and you got 7 out of 10 right, it's the same as it getting 70 out of 100 right? Which is percent. And the reason we use percents is it's easier to understand. We all understand parts of 100. We've heard it for a lot of our lives. 70% is like a C. Okay, I understand what that means. So that's kind of the process. Then you just go over here. It says what percent? You just go 70%. So you just enter in 70% and hit enter. Okay. When you're done with that, you go to the next one. It says each square below represents one whole. So that means that each of these is one whole. All right. So the left one is a whole, and the right one is a whole, which means that we have to think about percents as 100% being one whole. So that means that this is potentially more than one whole, obviously, right? We have the whole right here on the left, which is 100%, and then you have an additional percent over here, right? An additional part of a whole. It's 3/4, right? So this is equivalent to 1 3/4. So when we look at a mixed number for this, it would look like this. It would be 1 3/4. There's one whole, and then there's 3 out of the 4 sections on the other one. Now, to make it a percent, one way to do it is just to multiply 1 times the 4 and then add it to the 3. So how many fourths do we have in all? That's the same as 7/4, right? And then you can times top and bottom by 25. Because if you times top and bottom by 25, you're going to create an equivalent ratio out of 100 again, right? Percent. So 7 times 25 is going to be 175. And then 4 times 25 is going to be 100. So what we can see is that this is 175 out of 100. It's more than one whole, right? So what percent is that? Well, percent just means for every 100, right? So it's 175%, right? 100% is always going to be one whole, okay? So this is more than one whole, so it's more than 100%. It's 175%. So 175%. Okay, go to the next one. It says each square below represents one whole. Once again, this is going to be more than 100% then, right? Because you've got a whole 100% on the left, and then you got 1/10 on the right. So this is the same as 1 1/10. So let's go back over here. Let's erase this. This is 1 1/10. So you have 1 1/10. If you want to make it in a proper fraction, then you do 1 times 10 plus the 1. That's 11/10. You want to make it into an equivalent ratio out of 100, so times top and bottom by 10. And you're going to get 11 times 10 is 110, and 10 times 10 is 100. So you're going to get 110 out of 100, or 110% for every 100. And so this is going to be 110%, and that makes sense. It's more than 1. So you go over here and you go 110%. Okay, and the next question says, the large rectangle below represents one whole. So this whole entire rectangle, it says, is one whole. The large rectangle is one whole, which means that this is less than 100%, right? It's 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5, 2/5. So now we're looking at a new fraction, 2/5. So we're going to go over here. We're going to erase this. We're going to say 2/5. And then we're going to try to find the equivalent ratio out of 100. So we want to make it out of 100. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by. Well, 5 times 20 is 100, right? So times top and bottom by 20. And as long as you times the top and bottom by the same thing, you're going to get an equivalent ratio. 2 times 20 is 40, and 5 times 20 is 100. So this is 40 for every 100, or 40%. So this is 40%. And now you go over here and you put in 40%, and you're done. That's how you do that skill. Okay, let me stop the video.